Hi everyone, I'm working on some Caddis Pupa at the moment. These are a pattern of mine. This is the McPhail Caddis. I've got this one on YouTube. It's easily one of them. It is my top viewed fly on YouTube. I have tied 2 or 3 variants of it, and I'm actually sitting tying a variant, another one. This one here, just the olive version. Olive and grey, which is it's a good Grannom if you're fishing the Grannom. Grey is a great colour overall and works really well. So I'm going to tie it quickly. Slightly different materials. I use a Scud back on the original McPhail Caddis Pupa, but on this one I'm actually using a Flexibody, which is basically very similar material. You just cut it. Now the Scud back is 3mm wide, so I've cut this to 3mm wide as well and tie it on. It comes across like it's shiny one side more than the other, but it doesn't really matter the way it goes on. I just tie it in. Now you can lead the body of this fly, which I'm going to do to add a wee bit of weight. I'm tying it in size 12s and size 14s. This is a size 12. It's a grub hook shape. There's lots out there. This one is a full mill. It's a super grub. So what I'm going to do is lead it. Now I'm using a lead foil. Now you can buy the lead foil from Veniards or a stockist of Veniard materials. This is just a sticky back. Cut it maybe suit this fly. I'm not sure exactly, but just over 1mm. Quite easy to tie to put on. You just start at the back. In this case, break off that and rub the end down with my nail once I've got it in. I'm going to wind up to not exactly at the head, like I want it short of the head because I want it to taper towards the eye, and then I come back on it just to help form the shape and obviously add weight to the fly. So we do that. Thread colour, I'm going to be using a grey Uni 80, as you can see. First thing I'm going to do is just put a lead of thread in the area from the eye to the lead, and I'm going to come back up sort of midway and we tie in some eyes. Now these are melted eyes. I really should show you how I do these. Now I usually sit and make a lot up, so I have a wee tub that I fill to show you there. Different colours. I use a pointed pair of tweezers. Well, they were square, but I actually sharpened them into a point. Now, the nylon I'm using, I'm just a 12-pound nylon. You could use, depending on the size of the fly, you can use a heavier one or a lighter one. But this 12-pound, it's just a cheap sea strike, it's called. I like the colour. It's this chartreuse colour, which is ideal for. I like it works really well. Now you just take the end. Now the distance of the eyes, now you can further down you go the point, the wider they're going to be. In this case I want them around about say 1.5mm anyway. But you need to melt it, so you need to allow maybe a couple of mil either side, maybe 3 at the most. So what I normally do is even it up. You keep it together. A lighter and you just melt it, run it up till it stops against the side of the tweezers. Do the same on the other side. That then forms your small dumbbell eyes. Just give it a wee blow. Now it's easier just to catch it with a couple of turns at the end before you let them go, because they are a bit fiddly. So you can tie them on. Get them close, about head length away from the eye. Just figure 8 them on, they'll not move, just a wee couple of turns underneath the eyes and another couple, and you can end up with a reasonable eye there, I think. They're fine. So it's quite simple to make. Now the thing I like to do as well, because I put the lead on, you've got to make sure you cover it with the thread, so run down, come back up. Sometimes these lead foils, the sticky glue at the back can seep through the dressing, which over time it does sometimes. So if you cover it or even coat it a wee bit of varnish, it will stop that. So make sure you put plenty on. Now you want to have your thread at least in line. If you put the hook level, the thread should be in line nearly with the point, or around about halfway up. I'm just going to lower the hook a wee bit, it's a wee bit up in the air a wee. So I would say round about there is ideal for that. Now I've got the pre-cut, I've cut the flex body. Now there's lots out there, you'll find it. You could use the Scud back if you don't like this stuff. Now I like to wind it down from the top, from the area I'm going to basically bring it up to. A wee bit far, sorry, just go back a wee bit. Just watch, you don't want to go too close. You want to be minimum like around about halfway anyway, at least halfway, and a wee bit, depending on your style, the way you like it. You've got your own eye. Now that's secure, it's along the back, pulled it round the bend. So when you bring it up, you're going to form the segments. The yarn I'm going to be using, it's just a grey coloured yarn. Looks a bit browny on the video there, but it's not. It's a type of grey. Now, well, it's just a darning yarn that I buy. You can buy it in cards. You can get it online. You'll see it. There's plenty of darning yarn. It's a fine yarn. It's usually 70% or so wool, and the rest is nylon or polyester or something. So as you can see, what I did there is I actually waxed it, so I ran it through the wax in my finger, and I'm going to tie this on, just work my way down, right to the back, right to we meet the flex back, and then we bring the thread up. Now we're going to take our thread off, so just take a thread, it's easier just to take it out of the way, put it back on. So then we're going to form the segments of the body. So the first one we do is come underneath, and then we do a turn in front of that, and then we bring over our back, stretch it, I'll give it a stretch. We'll reduce it by a half mil or so. Do it again, one in front, over the back, and we just continue up the body. If we want more of the olive, or more it's showing through, you can double the turns with the yarn, so if you want to do it a wee bit wider, you can do 2 turns. So you get starts to taper up. And do another 2, and then again another turn to hold. Always keep it tight, never let it go. Fold it back. At this point I'm going to take it up a good 3 turns or so and get my thread back on. So just catch your thread back in, and I usually just tie over the wool nice and tight, and then trim away. Make sure you're in the right area at this point. Just check. Now I'm going to show you the back, what it looks like. Just makes a great body. When you're doing the brown version, so this is a size 10. You can see how much it tapers up. You can see the single turns at the bottom, and then double as we go up, and it gives you a natural look. If you ever see these Caddis Pupa, they've always got this kind of broken tight segment. It's very distinct, you can see it. Now the legs in this one, I'm going to use grey Partridge feather. Now I'm actually just going to put fibres either side. Now in this feather I'll probably get 2 flies. So what I normally do is I just take out the centre, so I've got an even right and left. Just to show you, you can get another one. Just take out the tip. There we are, so I'll use that, seeing I've got it in my hand. Usually I like the fibres, they can be shorter or they come towards the back of the body at the end. I usually catch it either side, and I'll show you what it looks like. There we are. So I usually like these when they fold along the side, they get a nice colour. It looks a complicated fly, it kind of is in a way. Once you get the proportions right and get into it, it's fine. Now this is where you can use a lot of different materials. I'm just going to use it's a Euro Nymph dub, this one you can buy, and it's one I like. I mean, I've made dubbing like this for bits of 30 years and more. When we first got the UV light brights and such like, angel hair, I like to blend these strands into a natural dub, and this is a great dubbing. It's a dark hare's ear, UV it's called. So I've got some here on my desk. Now, as you can see, I've got the thread in line at the back of the eyes. I'm going to basically dub it on and come up and come back down through. So lightly dub it onto your thread, slide it up, start right at the back of the eyes. As I say, work up, it's much easier to do that. You get a nicer shape as well. You can see the fly right up to the back. Just going to tighten a wee bit more. Now you can keep the more dubbing or a bit more on. If you're happy with it, just work your thread through. It's fine at that. Anything going forward, there is a couple of fibres there. We can stroke back with a finger, catch it with the thread turn just to hold it. Now at this point I like to brush some of the dubbing into the dressing or down into the dressing, so I usually brush it from the top, both sides. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now you could use seals fur and stuff like, you could use a lot of other dubbings. So you can see there it's out the side, so you've got a bit of leg, a bit of, it's just basically showing the pupa at the point of hatching. So what we do then, now I'm going to put horns on it. So I'm going to bring this over. Now you want your thread in front of the eyes at this point. Bring this over, catch it a couple of turns. Maybe 3 turns in this case. I'll show what it looks like. And then just make sure it's sitting right before we go any further. That's fine, it looks fine. Now I'm going to give it horns. I've got some, these are bronze mallard feathers. I use on the yellow version, I use the bronze side, and on this one I use the grey side, so I want 2 fibres. People say sometimes, well, fish will not bother if the horns are not there. True enough, it's not exactly something that sticks out in the dress and a fly like this, but in your eye it looks right. And so it gives you a lot of confidence, and it certainly does show up in times when because of the markings or so, I think it just helps with the dress and the flow of the fly. So what I've got here is 2 strands. Now I'm going to catch it in front of the eyes and then catch it at the back of the eyes. Now so you can just basically get the length, you want to be able to see them, so they can be short as long as you like. So what I'm going to do is catch it with a couple of turns in front, and then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to basically separate them. I usually pull the near one nearest to me, get this out of the way, I pull it towards the eye, this is my side. Now as I come over, I take the other one to the other eye, if you can see that. So they're sitting there. The waist, I pull it over with a turn. And then I bring over to form the head, 3 or 4 turns, so that if you can see there, it looks like that. Again, make sure this is straight. So when you're happy with that, then I usually take the thread to the front to tie off. You could tie off at the back, but I usually just tie off at the front. Now what I'm going to do here is just put some varnish on my thread. Then I'm going to hit finish. Just leave things the way they are at the moment. A wee bit of varnish, because I do that, sometimes the varnish builds up on the end of the wet finisher. Use your nail, don't use anything else to scrape it off. Just scrape it off with your nail or something blunt. Don't use metal because it will scratch your. Once it's off, it's fine. Trim thread away. I usually bring over the Flexibody. There's the waist end of the horns, just trim them away. You can trim this quite short. Now, in this one I actually prefer it short rather than long, so just a wee straight cut. And there we are. And that's basically the olive version. It's very Grannom like colour combination. Certainly I would fish it when the Grannom's coming off at work. It's a great pupa. These work a treat. You just have to look at the comments, and the people that's fished or tied and fished these, they're always surprised how well they do fish. The one that's got the best reputation is this one, because it's the one originally tied. But there's a nice olive version to have a go with. So you can curl these a wee bit, curl in the horns if you want. But anyway, there we are. It's great fun to tie. It certainly looks the part, but it does fish. It's not just for show. It's a good pupa pattern. It is a bit, if you do hook the bottom with it, probably spend a wee bit longer trying to get it back. But as long as you just sit and tie a few, when you're fishing these pupa, you're fishing them mid-water. I usually fish them sitting mid-water, just a bit off the bottom. It's just the way, but the fish come onto them, they really like them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and again, thanks for watching.